G'day, mates. Is that how I say it?
G'day, mate.
G'day, mate. I am in beautiful, beautiful Franklin in South Tasmania, right?
South Tasmania, yep.
And this is Bruce. Bruce is a, well, you're a local part of the year, right?
Yeah, 6 months of the year.
6 months of the year, and you come down from Newcastle.
Yeah, I sailed down from Newcastle.
I've been up to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent some time up in Newcastle and Port Stephens.
Yeah,
and
60 miles north of Sydney, so yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, you were kind enough to correct me as I started to do my video. I said I was going to give them a tour of this town. And you kind of laughed and you said, hey, mate, it's not a town, or it's not a city, it's a town.
Yeah, it's a village, really, and there's the only one place south of this is Dover.
And that's it,
nothing.
huh?
And there's nothing.
So Dover's south of here, and then there's nothing else.
Yeah, 50 k's south.
And what brings you down here?
I just like the place.
You do?
God's little country.
Yeah? And you have a yacht here, I see, right?
Yeah,
Now, do you sail down here, or you keep it down here?
No, I sail down here every year.
You sail down here from Newcastle, do you?
Yeah.
By yourself?
Yep.
Fantastic. I guess that's where I would say good on you, right?
Yeah, but it's a good place. You've got, this is the Huon River. It's one of the biggest rivers in Tasmania. And go down and you're out in the Doncaster Channel out there, and you've got North and South Bruny Island, and yeah,
and great. some good fishing.
Yeah, not so much here, but outside, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do with your time?
Go walking.
You go walking, huh?
Yeah, walking, have a look at the place. Get down the south there, there's some beautiful spots. Around the west coast.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I like to do? I like to do what are called walk and talks.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a walk and talk?
Yeah.
I just walk and I talk.
Yeah. Well,
and that's it.
What you should do is go in and book a flight down to Melaleuca, down into Port Davey.
Yeah.
It's wilderness. You know, there's over a third of Tasmania west coast is just absolute wilderness.
Just go down there and just book a flight, just like that.
Book a flight, you go down there, and you can go down there, and they'll take you around, have a bit of a look around, and
fantastic.
Fly over the place, fly down the coast, going up, and come back over inland, coming back again.
Fantastic. You're a nice guy. You know, you Aussies are really nice folk. You know that? You've taken really good care of me this year. I've been here since February.
Really?
I've been here since February. And you know what's the #1 question I get asked by Aussies?
Why did you stay here that long?
No, they say, you get stuck here, mate? That's what they all want to know. They want to know that I get stuck here. But truth be told, I begged and I pleaded, you know, to stay. I was here for 60 days, and then the world went crazy on us. And I thought, you know, what a better place to be than the land down under.
Well, you're a bit safer here than you are back over in the US anyway, mate.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for the chat, mate. All right.
Good on you, mate.
Have a great day, okay?
Enjoy your stay.
Thank you so much. All right, folks.
It's a great place, mate. It's a great place.
Thank you so much. All right, so there you have it. There you have it, folks. There is Mr. Bruce. And let's go and do a little walk and talk. And I'm going to start right here. I'm at the marina, and look at this. Look at this sailing vessel right here. And as I turn around, I'm going to show you Bruce's setup. Look at this. You see? Is this man living the good life or what? Huh? Look at this boat. Oh, it's gorgeous. He sails this down from Newcastle, and I was up in Newcastle and spent quite a bit of time up there. So folks, I am going to take you on a little walk and talk through this historic town here in beautiful South Tasmania, and it is a gorgeous little town. Franklin is the Huon Valley's only declared historic town. It retains a large collection of wooden pre-Federation and Federation buildings in its main street, which is what we'll be walking down here in just a moment. Initially, industry and business mainly took place at the northern and southern ends of the town, where sailing barges were able to access the shore more easily. And that's where I would probably be standing right now. Franklin became an important river port. Over time, as the population grew, it developed into the cultural, commercial, and religious center of the Huon Valley. Is this gorgeous or what? Oh, there was a wonderful lady up in Toowoomba who said, Tom, you are just gonna love Tasmania. And so I did, or so I am, I should say. But it really is beautiful. It's just really something special. And then over here, I was walking by earlier, and there was a it's like a community center or something, and they're all sitting and having dinner, and a local came by and told me that I should pop in and say hello. I don't know if I will or not. Just across from the water here are the Egg Islands. The Egg Islands contain threatened forest, wetland, and saline grassland communities and are home to the globally endangered Australian bittern. Look at that. Oh, it's gorgeous. This would be your Australian bittern right here, if I can share that with you. There's your Australian bittern. Oh, this is just really delightful. All right, I'm gonna go and find my way down to the main street here in Franklin. Black duck, to be specific, and 5 little chicks. Isn't this beautiful? Wow, what an unexpected little surprise. And they don't seem to mind me too much. I'll see how close I can get to them. But look at them. Just out having a nice evening stroll here on the banks of the Huon River. Look at that. Boy, that's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? There you go. I found my way up to the road, and just before crossing, I thought I'd share this with you. This is the Wooden Boat Center of Tasmania, and this is supposed to be a really special place. They manufacture boats here. This is where you see a boat on the water around here. There's a very, very good chance that it came right from this very building. And I'm going to come down tomorrow and visit this building. You can actually watch them making the boats, and I'm imagining that's going to be pretty cool to see. Now, just across the way, you have Frank's Cider Bar, Cafe, and Museum, and this is another spot right here that I intend to come by and do a little visit. Maybe even have some cider. So we'll take a peek at this. And then this, actually, St. John's Anglican Church, 1864, I think, is just up on the hill. And that is where the tour actually starts. Now, I'm not going to walk up there for fear of that goat that's that goat that's looking at me. But I can give you a view of the church from here, perhaps. Look at that. Oh, I think the goat wants to come down and maybe say hello. We will see. Look at that. So there's you see, some people have a watchdog, but they have a watch goat. So, oh goodness. All right. So let's come around over here, and this right here would be the Frank's Cider. Look at this building here. Frank's Cider Bar and Cafe. That's something. And they have the Jane Franklin Memorial Museum and Gallery in here as well. And there's that church just right up on top. And you know what? I think I will go up and take a peek at the church, if only for those of you that might be interested in seeing it. All right, so luckily this guard goat is on a chain, or else I'd be a little bit worried. But look at this. I don't know if I'm supposed to go bah, bah, you know. I don't know. Oh, I think he wants to eat my tour guide, is what he wants to do. Isn't that something? All right, so let's go find the church. All right, I made it past the guard goat, and here would be your church. You can look up the history of this church online easy enough. So I'll just walk around the outside of the church to give you a nice view of it. Look at that. All the way back to the 1800s dates this church. Wow, really something else. All right, let's go check out the rest of Franklin. And there you have Jane Franklin. Look at that. Now this was what the goat was trying to eat. You see, the goat was trying to eat my tour guide, and I thought, no, that's not going to happen, because it would make for a terrible walk and talk as I go down the main street here. And I'm just coming up on Church Street, interestingly enough, and I'll tell you a little bit about Lady Jane. She was born in 1791 and lived until 1875, and she was a daughter of a London silk weaver, John Griffin, and his wife Mary. And Lady Jane was once quoted as saying, "There can be, I think, no more useful, no more sacred task than assisting in forming the moral and intellectual character of a new society. It is the most and best kind of labor." So here we come up on Church Street right here, and I hope I'm able to share most of the town with you as I walk down from one end to the other. What I'm going to do is walk down the main street here and then back up along the river. So I'll share a little bit more about Lady Jane. She in 1828 she married Sir John Franklin, who in 1836 was appointed Lieutenant Governor of Van Diemer's Land. Instead of assuming the traditionally passive role of a governor's wife, she immediately set out to make this new home the intellectual center of Australia. So let's go check out what once was the intellectual center of Tasmania. This building here would be the Commercial Bank of Tasmania, and there are actually quite a few points of interest on this tour guide as I'm walking along, and I will do my best to try to correlate the map while watching the traffic on the street. Here is Howard's Emporium right here, and I will maybe stick my little thing up. Harold Howard's Emporium opened in 1896, selling iron lingerie, drapery, and general goods. Okay, so there was that, and then just across the street you have the Franklin Marine. You see fishing and chandlery, and I gotta be honest, I don't know what the word chandlery means, but I'm sure somebody out there does. But there is your Franklin Marine right there. And here you would have Blink Bonnie, as the house is called, and that's what's listed on the tour guide. And look in the window if you can see that. They've got just a wonderful elaborate Christmas scene there in the window, and I'm sure they don't mind me sharing it. But look at this building here. Blink Bonnie, this is the site of the bakery of Charles Watson, whose banking career began at Kennedy's Exchange. Baking career began at Kennedy's Exchange in 1904. His bakery was continued by F.C. Watson until 1947. There have been several bankers in Franklin. Bakers. I keep wanting to say banker instead of bakers, but that would be Blink Bonnie right there, that building. And this is the chemist. Interestingly enough, they have these very nicely labeled, you see. So the chemist, Franklin's first chemist was A.N. Spong in 1858. His dispensary was at the southern end of town near Franklin Exchange. The chemist, Edward Raymond Ash, arrived in Franklin in 1908. He was in his 50s at the time and had worked in Hobart, Newtown, Davenport, and Mount Biscoff, where he started a newspaper, the Waratah Weekly Times. In 1910, Ash moved into these premises owned by J. Griggs in Franklin, and his hobby was photography. And just across the street you have the Huon Newspaper Company. That was formed in 1909 by Norman Ewing and Sidney Wentworth Addison. The Huon Times was first published on 16th of February 1910 in a small building located opposite the Mechanics Institute. During World War I, Sidney Addison joined the Australian Flying Corps, serving with distinction in Palestine and France. Isn't that something? So, boy, this is a quiet little town, I gotta tell you. There's your little camper, or as they would call it, a caravan. You see, I've got one of those, not different color, but it's a teardrop, just like that one is. So, all right, let's continue on down the street and see what else I can share with you. It's starting, sun is actually starting to go down, so we will put a spring in my step, so to speak, and try to give you as much of a tour of the town as possible. I'm going to cross the road, if only to give you a little bit of a better view of some of these homes, and I will continue reading that Jane Franklin's Fernland settlement was dependent on river transport for its survival, so it's not surprising that people began building ships. Two of the earliest were Huon Chief, built by George Griggs in 1849, and Lloyd's Herald, built by George and John Lloyd in 1851. Look at that beautiful home right there. It's a quiet neighborhood. There is literally nobody out, and tonight is a Monday night. Here is yet another historic building, and it's wonderful that these buildings have these signs. This would be the doctor's house that you're looking at right here. Look at that. This house is believed to have been the home of Franklin's first resident doctor and deputy register of births, deaths, and marriages, Dr. William Lee Dawson. He served in the area for 17 years, from 1854 until his death from tuberculosis in 1871. After his death, there were long periods when Franklin did not have a resident doctor. Dr. George Murray Anderson was probably the longest serving doctor in the town, from 1892 to 1922. So here you have it. This would be the doctor's house. I guess maybe this is where they got the saying, is there a doctor in the house? I don't know. I'll look that up. All right, next stop would be the Palace Theater here. And you know, not only is it starting to get dark, but it's chilly. Maybe not chilly is the word, but it is well, are nippy and chilly the same thing? I would imagine that the temperature right now, as I'm walking and talking, is probably all of about oh, it must be in the low 60s, I would imagine. So on with the tour. And here's another one of the stops on the tour, and you are looking at the Somerset House. Somerset House was a two-story private boarding house owned by William and Ellen Norris, and later by their son Arthur and his wife. Only the lower part of the house remains. As the town grew in importance in the early part of the 20th century, there was a significant demand for accommodation in Franklin. Although there were 3 hotels offering accommodation at the time, Somerset House was the preference for their looking for a homely atmosphere. Homely atmosphere. No liquor was sold in this house. And yet here is another home. What do they have? Kindness Rocks. You can see. All right, I'm probably just a little bit over halfway down this sleepy little town. And we'll see what this building is right here. I don't think there's a stoplight in town. This is the old bank building. Look at that. 1920. The old bank. Alright. And then over here you've got a haircut and a post office. Wonderful. Monday through Saturday, stomping ground. Wouldn't surprise me if all the old men congregate down here for coffee. Alright, so on we go. And here would be the next stop on the tour. I think I'd be lost without these little markers in front of the buildings here. This is the Blackman's Watchmaker and Jeweler right here. Here's his building. You can read up about that online if you want. He was an optician, jeweler, and watchmaker. And here comes some more small little properties. Just a little town. Here's the Huon Little Treasure Thai and Western food. But there's a bed and breakfast here as well. Now here's a beautiful building. Will you look at this? Look at this building here. They've got a beautiful mural on the side of the building, and let's see how much of it I'm able to share with you. But there is Lady Jane Franklin right up there. Look at that. Alright. So I would imagine that this building would be on the list, and sure it is. This is the Franklin Hotel that you're looking at right here. And I don't know if it's still open or not. It may very well be. But there's your Franklin Hotel right across from the river there. And there's the view from the main street. And then come over here and you've got another mural on the side of the wall there. Look at that. Wonderful. And look at this. Boy, I'd imagine that those of you that are following me from around the world that have never been to Australia, you're really seeing Australia in a way that you never did and maybe never even imagined. And what's amazing is that I have been here now going on 9 months, I believe, and I've chronicled almost the entire trip. Well, I have chronicled the entire trip from start to finish. And I know what you Aussies are saying. You're saying, good on you, mate. I'd be remiss if I didn't share this home with you. I don't think that there's a marker in front of it, and I don't think it's necessarily on the tour, but it's interesting nonetheless. It caught my eye as I was coming down, and look at all the little characters here along the fence. Isn't that something? You can buy yourself some plants, and look at the beautiful garden out in the front. Isn't that beautiful? No shortage of roses in Australia. And maybe one day the owner of this home will come across this video and appreciate me sharing it with the world. Alright, I have made my way to the river, and in doing so I'll share what looks like a rather nice restaurant here in Franklin, and it's right next to the right next to the playground for the small children. What this, I believe, would be a restaurant. And then just over here you have the foreshore playground, and that'll take me up to the walk along the river, and then back to the car and completing this walk and talk. And it is getting a little bit chilly, but the alternative, I think, would be some of the heat coming from the blowing down from the outback into Victoria and New South Wales. And I'm not talking about the outback as in the restaurant. I'm talking about the true blue outback that was named, the restaurant was named after. So my good old friend Carlo Panatati taught me that. He's told me that the outback, the center of Australia, gets awfully hot in the summer, and that hot air just blows down into the southern part of Australia. So here's your walk along the river, and I should be back up toward the marina pretty quick. And here would be a view of the river going south, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you just how special and beautiful this place is. Look at that. What a wide river. Really beautiful.